Okay, time to show you our last variety of mulberry here on the farm. That's up next. Hello everyone, this is Dwayne with Edge of Nowhere Farm, and we're coming to you here today. It's the beginning of May, and we are finally wrapping up our mulberry series with our last variety of mulberry. So what you see behind me here is a white Pakistan mulberry. Yes, white Pakistan mulberry. So the tree that Lori's scanning up on, so you can kind of get an idea of the size of this tree has been in the ground for 3 years. When we got it, it was a bare root tree. It was about an inch or so in diameter as far as the caliper size. We actually got it from Seamus O'Leary, believe it or not. He was doing some fall, winter bare root trees a few years back, and we saw this variety and thought, you know what? We need to give this one a shot. So put it in the ground, and as you can see, it's doing amazing. So the tree itself is just massive. So this tree, again, 3 years in the ground. This tree, guys, it's hard for me to judge. It's at least 20 feet tall. It's at least 15 to 20 feet wide. We prune it so that we can get underneath it. It's just a massive, massive tree. To have this much growth in 3 years just boggles my mind. It is by far the biggest tree we have here on the property, and just doing wonderful. So where we have it, so obviously mulberries here in Arizona. Mulberries in Arizona require full blazing sun. That's what they need. They grow best with full blazing sun. They can take abuse, man. They stand up to just about everything. One thing I know I need to mention, because I've had this question a few times, is, hey, I didn't think you could plant mulberries in Arizona, or don't they just put off a lot of pollen and make everybody sneezy? So the reason why you don't have an issue with pollen on this particular tree is because this is a female fruiting mulberry. So you have male and female varieties of these trees. This is a female, which means that is going to give you your fruit. Now, in order for this tree to produce viable seeds, it would need to have a male pollinator, and that male pollinator would be the tree you probably don't want to plant. So let's talk a little bit more about the fruit. So now this is a white Pakistan mulberry. So the mulberries themselves don't turn purple or red. They stay white. So they start out green. You can see the fruit set on this one branch. It's just everywhere. Just amazing to see. But you know, you've got some juvenile fruit here that's not ready. It's very green, very small and thin. You have some that's starting to turn a little thicker and starting to kind of plump out. And then I've got one down here at the end. You can see this one here. You can see translucent. It looks like it's starting to fill with water really well, and it came right off, if you can see that. So this is our fruit. So now, this was labeled and sold as a black or a white Pakistan mulberry. Whether it's a Pakistani variety or not, I don't know. Usually Pakistan mulberries are much longer than this. Looks more to me like, you know, an Oscar mulberry or something like that, but either way, you get an idea of the fruit itself. So, and then of course, size, I'm gonna say it's probably about 1 inch long, maybe half an inch in diameter. And then, man, got some funky shapes to it, but overall, I'm very interested to see what this is gonna taste like, because we're having a hard time finding ripe fruit. Let's see how this works. All right, so, okay, right off the bat, definitely not that strong, sweet flavor that I'm used to getting from a mulberry. It's got some sweetness to it, but man, it's very, very subtle. Definitely ripe. No question that it's ripe, because it's really juicy. But man, that sugar content's really, really low. So it's not tart at all. There's no tart to it at all, which is pretty typical of a fully ripe mulberry. Has good flavor, but man, it's really, really mild sweetness. I'm having a hard time describing it. I'm gonna say if you've ever had, I don't know, for me, loquats are very, very mild sweetness. So it's kind of like that, although those can be sweet, but kind of a real mild sweetness. A little bit of kind of a honey sort of taste. So you get a little bit of honey, but very, very light sweetness to honey. So a mix of that and maybe a little bit of a citrus kind of tone. But actually a pretty good overall tasting fruit, just mildly, mildly sweet. So let's talk a little bit more about this tree and the future of this tree for us here not so much on this farm, but on the new farm. So the idea behind this tree, more than anything, that as Lori and I are tasting the fruit, getting an idea of what to use this tree for, you kind of get an idea of what we're starting to use it for. If Lori wants to pan down, you're going to see our nursery. So this is where we have all of the plant starts that we've done here on the farm that we're going to be taking over to the new 6-acre farm. So these are trees that we're bringing. We've got a few different types of fig trees down here, mulberry varieties. We've got some, actually some mesquite trees that we've grown basically from seed here on the property that we're going to be planting over there as well. So we've got our nursery here because this gives just amazing shade. Well, we're also thinking, because you can use mulberry leaves as livestock fodder. So we can use these for our chickens, sheep, pigs. Any of those guys will eat the greens off of here, love to eat these greens. And we don't mind if the birds get to a lot of this fruit. And what's really cool, because it's white, it's not going to stain anything. So it really doesn't matter necessarily what's underneath this tree, because you're not going to get that purple or red stain that you would typically get on a mulberry. So beautiful shade tree. You can see it grows very, very rapidly. We've got air layering that we've done on this tree that's about a month old. So if Lori wants to peek in here, we kind of went for broke on these, used some bigger branching. But we've got some air layering that we've done on several branches. So we're going to give that another month or so to hopefully come back and root out, and we can actually take some of this tree with us. Would love to have that on the new farm, but just a beautiful, beautiful shade tree, a nice mellow tasting fruit, and really just a very cool, unique variety of mulberry. So just want to thank you for joining us today. If you haven't done so already, hey, subscribe to the channel. Instagram and Facebook, we post content there that you won't see here on the YouTube channel. Questions or comments, leave them in the comment section down below. And as always, check out our Amazon shop. We've got the link down below. If you use that link next time you do your Amazon shopping, it's a free and easy way to help support the channel here. So just want to thank you for joining us today and remind you, if we can farm on the edge of nowhere, so can you. So today is a special mulberry day. It's not a special mulberry day. The reason why is you have a male and female, so you have those two different. So the reason why you don't have an issue with pollen on this tree is this is a male. This is not a male.
Not a male, it's a female.
I'm gonna get this down. I got my birds and my bees, my males, my females.